Welcome to another CIRF report, everybody. My name is Chris. I'll be doing the influence and the suggested solution for the week of December 12th through the December 18th. It's the full frost moon in Gemini, and she is conjunct with Jupiter. So here's our influence chart, our overview. Basically, are you ready to receive? And what does that mean? That is this title down here is supposed to denote the energy. And the energy is derived from the overlap of all these three circles. So the purple circle is the astrology. It's a full moon in Gemini. It's conjunct with Jupiter. It's a loose conjunction, but we'll talk more specific about that. We also have Mercury station direct. Those two things happen on the same day. It's pretty cool. Then we also have this week Venus opposed Mars. We have a grand fire trine in the background that gets reinitiated because Venus went retrograde. So put him back into position to be a grand fire trine. And then the T-square on Saturn reinitiates because of it. All right, there is also the Dreambot. This is where we have the collection of dreams internationally, and we call it the collective unconscious, and it is enamored with lottery. Lottery being the number one word, and a lot of numbers and mental states. So we have luck with the Jupiter piece, full moon in Gemini with the mental states, and also Mercury station. Also, the T-square on Saturn, because that includes Mercury as well. Also, Jupiter is part of that. And then we have the I-Ching too, which is the receptive. Now, the receptive is quite the opposite of what we had energetically from last week, because the receptive in the I-Ching is the epitome of yin. It is the great mother. Well, in astrology, that's the moon. So moon's at her max. Just happens to be in the sign of Gemini, but just following the full moon, she goes into the next sign to home of Cancer, where she sits and receives. And so number 2, I Ching is all about receiving. And in this case, I think it's going to be a big mental download mainly, but with lottery, you never really know. Lottery is much more material, and it can come in all sorts of places, but it's going to be downloaded into the higher mind, i.e. Jupiter. Anyway, we'll get to all that. High congruency score. I'm excited for this week, and you should be too. Let's go. We have a tie on the best comment. Stonewaller, big shout out to you, and CJ Star Monkey 73. Great comments, and has me considering about taxes. Right on. And believe me, I'm already there in that comment. Reconsider indeed. The IRS equals the IRS. Smash those together. Theirs. I love it. And CJ Star says, I believe in you. Well, I believe in you. All right, shout out to both of you. And let's look at the Dreambot. Here you go. Lottery, number one word. And not just lottery, but we have numbers and winning. So it's very clear. Also important. I'm not really big into the theory of music. I just play a dabble on the guitar a little bit, but 440 is the surge score for the top 4 words, which include lottery, numbers, routine, and winning. And I understand that 440 is I think the new standard for the C, the base of C or something. I don't know. And I know a lot of you know that, but I thought that was interesting to have the exact same surge score at 440. It's going to, I don't know, the collective unconscious is seeing a luck coming down. This has a flare of, lots of different places where you can feel like you won the lottery. It doesn't have to be like a money windfall. It doesn't have to be monetary. And so go imagine, not that all of us have won the lottery, but imagine winning the lottery. Imagine the emotion of that. And I think that's the most important thing that we take away, because we're talking about the influence potentially. And so it's like a mania, it's like a euphoria, a mental whole body euphoria. That's the feeling that the collective is accessing right now. So anyway, like a jubilee. So the linguistic set number 2 is the following. Let December Monday, eyes and mind, similar meditation experience. It almost reads like a sentence. And it just sounds like we're going to be in a zone with a feeling like exuberance and like that we're winning. So anyway, in summary, the red arrows, and it's not just the winning and numbers and lottery, it's a whole set of red arrows. It's about winning the lottery and being lucky. And then blue is just the mental states. So it's all about Jupiter and Gemini. That's how it correlates into the astrology. All right, we're right here in this shaded area, and we have a full moon in Gemini. We're in the energy window. It lasts until approximately winter solstice. It's called the Celestial Bonfire and Cosmic Awakening, and that's mainly because there were 3 grand fire trines with the North Node. And that is also apparent this week. Okay, on this chart, we can talk about the retrogrades, because we had Neptune go direct last week, and we have Mars go retrograde last week. So ultimately, what we have retrograde this week, we have on the first part Mercury going still in retrograde, but he will go station and direct right on the full moon day, right in the middle. As you see, the full moon's here, and station for Mercury is here. And then we have Neptune going direct. So all we have in retrograde then by the end of the week is Uranus, let's see, and Jupiter and Mars. And that's it. All right, here's your energy graph from another viewpoint. This is the strength of the influence. So receiving and this mental exuberance kind of idea, mental download is starting fairly weak, but then, it maxes out at the full moon in Gemini conjunct with Jupiter, and then restarts with this Mercury opposed Jupiter, which is going to extend out into the next week. That's what keeps that elevation feeling high. We start our week on Thursday the 12th. This is Venus conjunct with Pluto. That's the powerful rebellion lovers. They're liberation artists as well, but they are at odds with Mars. Now, the rebellion lovers are rebellious because they're in Aquarius, and Pluto is powerful and loves to control and death and rebirth and all that. So it brings in this flare of the Tower card in Tarot, struck by lightning, because it's in odds with Mars. Mars is the leader lion. Now he's in retrograde in Leo, so facing basically a life review of the past, but in a context of leading, dominating, power, creativity, lots of yang activity. So these are at odds with each other. So what does that mean? Well, first of all, whenever you see Venus and Mars together in any sort of alignment, there's a degree of passion. And it doesn't have to know relational or power, passion, or sexual. But it can, but it's just passion in general. You've seen non-sexual passion in people. It's a mental state as well. But we have a feeling of immunity from easy persuasion. That's because the dominant force down here is in Aquarius. We have liberation from restricting circumstances. We have resilience and self-reliance. But also you have volatility in here, especially when we get into the full moon, because unpredictability is a good word for full moon energy. We have erratic behavior. We have power struggles, and victim orientation are highly possible. But overall, in archetype form, it feels like the tower is struck by lightning in terms of the tarot, which represents a sudden drastic change and upheaval that ultimately leads to enlightened liberation. Revelations and awakenings are possible, often come through some kind of crisis or conflict. Old structures, patterns, and identities may need to fall away for something more authentic to emerge. So that's our beginning. And throughout the week, you can see I've annotated here the Grand Fire Trine. Mercury is still retrograde, Mars retrograde, and North Node in a state of retrograde, all in fire signs. So it's the hero retreat. And Mercury will be the first one that leaves this retrograde state. But right now, it's in a retreating stance. So it is looking into the past to seek understanding of the future, increased self-awareness and personal insight. There's more mental aptitude there because you got Mercury in this Grand Fire Trine. North Node gives us purpose and, real desires, because North Node in Aries is about finding self and your place in it, into your future life purpose. Renewed inspiration, creative energy from this Grand Fire Trine. That does last all day, by the way. And we have preparation for future growth and expansion. Then on Saturday, put your focus down here on the moon is in Gemini, conjunct with Jupiter. And this is in preparation for the full moon, because as you know, the full moon, cold moon, will be in Gemini. So in preparation for that, this is the last stages of the waxing gibbous moon, conjunct with Jupiter. And when the climax of the full moon does happen, she still will be in conjunction with Jupiter. So it's an ultra expansive, because the full moon, or the waxing gibbous moon, is about expansiveness. Well, you have the planet of expansiveness, Jupiter, at the same time. So this is an ultra expansive moon phase that meets ultra expansive planet Jupiter. So massive overload in the mind due to emotionally overdriven retrograde planet, who is in a foreign country, by the way, Jupiter in detriment in Gemini, in retrograde. So imagine being in a sport, and you're really good at that sport, but you're away. You're in the away team visiting the home team's location. So you've got the fans are all from the other team. You have all the feeling of support and energy are against you and for the other team. That's what this feels like. Doesn't mean you can't be good. And when you are good, it feels even better to be in that zone. So that's what's possible here. But easy to be on your game, because you have to be. And this is the higher philosophical part of the mind, which is going to be on your game, with a square over to Saturn. And you can already see what's starting here is that T-square again, but not quite yet. It almost looks like a T-square with the sun, but it's not. So this energy right here of Moon and Jupiter together is super mentally arousing. It's looking everywhere for insights. looking everywhere for answers. It's a super excited state. This is like a mental mania, mind-blowing wisdom with emotional knowing, and the pressure to fully assimilate this download. The download is beginning right here. This is the receiving mode in the mind, Saturday the 14th, and in a very expansive way. Sunday the 15th, this is where we have the full cold moon, otherwise known as the frost moon. It's in Gemini, as we mentioned before, still in conjunction with Jupiter. So this energy right here is expanded perspectives, mental flexibility, enhanced communication skills, ability to convey complex ideas, increased capacity for learning, integration of knowledge, heightened problem solving, but also on the downside, tendency for mental overload, like the picture we had before. The little kid can't get the words out, scattered focus. Not meaning you can't. It's possible. It's possible that there's so much mental download that it becomes like a choked hose. So you really need to relax the body, also relaxes the mind so that download doesn't get constricted. And then, so right here, the full moon conjunct Jupiter is the curious traveler, the eternal student, the storyteller dilemma, the riddling sage. And then, so with this download, you just happen to have Mercury in retrograde going station 2.5 hours after the climax of the full moon. So on the day of the full moon, just a few hours later, we have Mercury going station at 6 degrees, 25 minutes of Sagittarius. So Mercury station for the remainder of the day on Sunday the 15th. This will create a powerful mental insights that can be easily downloaded and assimilated both during the full moon and during the Mercury station, which is pretty much all day on Sunday the 15th. So enjoy that. Then on Monday, the moon returns home. So this is a double meaning in astrology. The astrological home, the astrological home is defined when the planet is in the sign that they rule. And in this case, moon is in Cancer, but also Cancer itself denotes or delineates into partly the home, also protection. But moon in Cancer is the divine mother, is the yin. And so I'm hammering that home because this is the I-Ching 2, the most correlated part of the I-Ching 2. So in the timeline of things, we have the full moon, we have Mercury station, and then the day after, we have moon, or the emotional body, goes home. And if you're going home, you're feeling the pull of going home. You're yearning to go home and assimilate all that you downloaded the day before. So this is the bombastic mental download. The great mother wants to go home and sit in the resulting emotions, the feelings, and really take in the intuitive senses to translate those into meaning and make sense of everything that came in yesterday at the full moon and the Mercury station. Tuesday the 17th, what do we have here? There's a reminder of the Grand Fire Trine, and we also have Venus opposed Mars. We talked about that earlier. We also have Venus trine Jupiter that is about 2.5 degrees of orb. So it's getting stronger. This is the tendency towards connections with diverse groups and individuals. There's themes in this trine with friendship, collaboration, possibly networking, getting to know a lot of different people, and for a higher cause. That's Venus in Aquarius. And then also what's forming, we're almost there to where Jupiter opposed Mercury is in orb. But we also have the two squares on Saturn, so the T-square is about ready to form. And here it is. We have the T-square once again. We've seen this before. And this is the return of the Saturn T-square. Challenges the mind to expand, to adapt, and evolve. You've got the lower rational mind with Mercury and the higher philosophical spiritual mind with Jupiter. So, and they're at odds with each other, but that doesn't mean it's bad. That means there's going to be rifts in the mind, struggles, and you're going to work those out. And with the disciplinarian of Saturn, you're really going to get assimilated into some pragmatic understanding of things you need to be doing or the way you need to be thinking. Brings a lot of surety and discipline in the space of uncertainty. All right, so the I-Ching 2, receptive power. This is the divine yin. Great receptivity attracts great gifts and great blessings. And, that is the lottery as well. Don't forget that. This is not just a monetary thing. I mean, it can be. It can be very monetary. It's just receiving. For most of us, I think receiving insight and mental downloads this week. The receptive force is sensual and subtle, but can be overlooked by too much thinking, talking, and planning. We also have line 5, and that means that we are going to be called upon to play an important role. That's a match to the North Node Grand Fire Trine. And discretion is essential at this time. This is a delicate balance between service and self-preservation. Let's go ahead and button up the solution. The influence. And here you have it. This is the picture, the mental download, and it could be quite a bit. So very important to relax into that and receive the maximum. Let's all get prepared for a mental overhaul this week, right in the middle of our CIRF week. Sunday, the 15th of December, we have two major events, the full moon in Gemini and Mercury goes station. This will be a mental climax that might include mental downloads, overwhelming insights, solution to vexing problems, and more. Meanwhile, in the background, the Grand Fire Trine emanates yang-type power with insight about where your life is heading with strong willpower to get on that right path forward. It's a profound week with strong energies emanating. Are you ready to receive the cosmic downloads? So even if your answer is yes, we need to still talk about the solution. When you put the change line in, you get hexagram 8, that's holding together. So there's a social suggestion here. Holding together produces success. High level teamwork is achieved when the right players on the right team share a clear goal at the right time. Here's our quick suggestions. Seek connection with like-minded people, build alliances and partnerships, gather support through genuine relationships, show loyalty to others, be reliable and consistent, establish common ground. Put the full moon into our conversion chart. We go from tropical into sidereal and we get Taurus. But on the way, it's in the Rave Mandala gate number 12. So let's look at that. Gate 12, standstill. Line 2, this is where the full moon happens. Line 2, purification, rigorous withdrawal from negative influences. The discipline to maintain a pure state. You see where this is headed? Getting the download, but it's important how you perceive that mental download. And if you're resisting it or judging it in any way, you're probably going to taint it. You need to just open up and let it drop in in a pure state, the expression of disciplined social caution. In other words, don't be hanging around negative people. Why? Well, because since we're getting maximum reception, you're going to get the mental download associated with the environment that you're in. So I would be more apt to be in a pure state, positive state, be around what you want. All right. And then our solution. Here's what we triangulated. So we have holding together here. This is not just being around people. This is more teamwork. This is doing things together with a common goal. Over here with the rave, this is a haunted house in the background. It's get out of there. Rigorous withdraw from negative influences. Don't be where you are going to be negatively influenced. All right, and sidereal Taurus is the bowl, and we have the full moon, which is very expansive. So in this powerful and highly unpredictable energy, full moon, it will be best to periodically reintegrate into the real world through mindfulness and practical reality checks. Be thinking about the earth sign of Taurus. This is the gift through the five senses. And so it's one thing to get a mental download. It's another thing to pragmatically use it. Like, what's the point of having a download if you can't really use it? So this solution is really focused on how to get what you already have, a mental download, and then how to get that out into, rubber meets the road. Mind will be whisking you off to other convincing realities. So put little sticky pads or reminders on your phone to check in with yourself, to be mindful. Remind yourself to be living in your five senses and not in your head. If you're in your head this week, you're probably going to be judging or analyzing that which you receive. And I don't think that's in a pure state. I would get it downloaded without restriction and then slowly bring it out into the manifested version of it later. So deliberately slow down and smell the roses. That's the sidereal Taurus. Experience the practical world as much as possible to reduce mental overload. Some of you might be having panic attacks or anxiety attacks. And that is a very mental place. And so coming out into the five senses is one of the possible solutions. All right. And is also very Taurus. The rave suggests us to look for and avoid negative influences, but that does not mean to be antisocial. The I-Ching suggests that we hold together and to work reliably and loyally with like-minded folks. When you are with these positive, influencing people, foster teamwork, be loyal, boost alliance, be genuine, and follow through with your commitments. All right. Are there any questions that you have? Anything that I missed? Comments are welcome. And also, we have that comment award each week. So go down here after you're done reading this and taking your screenshots. You have this to refer back to. Go down into the comments and put an up arrow to your favorite comment. And that's how the comment person wins. We do that weekly. All right, everybody. I hope you win the lottery. And I hope, or at least feel like you got lucky, because Jupiter on that full moon is going to bring a refreshing sense of goodness and optimism. So, should be a fantastic week, and relax into the mental downloads. That's all I got, everybody. Namaste. Blessings to all.